Okay, welcome to Diary of a Dragon Priestess and happy 2026 to you. I am back. It's been a hot minute since I've sat here and recorded something, but today something stirred inside and I just felt like I needed to show up and be here and share a bit about what has happened with me in the last few months, where I've been. In a massive hermiting, cocooning phase, and I'm quite happy about that, to be honest. So I thought I'd speak a little bit about that and about the energies of this year, and just referring to some of the stuff that's happened to me, just to share with you guys, and there might be some pearls of wisdom that drops out in the process. So first of all, when I thought about this podcast over the last few days, and I was just like, oh, what shall I talk about? And I thought, I might just share with you guys that last year when I did my 2026 reading, my 2026 tarot reading, I always draw a tarot card for the year. So that's kind of like my theme. That's what I work with. That's what I basically try and embody, basically, right? And so for this year, for 2026, I pulled the Tower card. So I've got the Tower card for this year, and I was just like, oh my God, because in 2025, I pulled the Devil card. And I mean, that was a hell of a one as well. And the Devil card in the tarot is the card before the Tower card. And I actually drew the card that goes before the Devil the year before. So I was just like, okay, guides, am I starting to live the tarot now? Because I'm quite happy to move to the Star once we're done with the Tower this year. But we'll see what happens there. And I also took some time to choose a word for myself for this year based on my experiences of 2025. So I'm going to start there, and then we can go from that space. So in 2025, was my Devil year, and the Devil is really about coming to that space where you are brutally honest with yourself and you start to look at everything that isn't working, that doesn't feel right, where you're lying to yourself, all of those type of things. And it was a tough year. It definitely was not one of the easiest ones that I've been through. But it was also a beautiful year in terms of things that I created and new experiences and things that I learned about myself. And so one of the big things that came out last year for me was about like how I was still in that phase, even though, I mean, if you ask anyone about me, they'll say to you that Yolandi is so real about stuff and she's so authentic. And yes, I am up to a point, but there was this little niggly bit inside of me that was always going, well, are they still going to want to be friends with me? Are they still going to like me if I say this? If I'm really honest about that, what's going to happen in my relationships? So for me, it's always like, the bigger world out there, does it really matter? Not, to me, not so much. People can think what they want to think. But when it comes to my personal relationships, there was still these deeper issues about really understanding that I have to speak my truth and I have to come from a really authentic place within myself, and not try and spare everyone or try and make sure that how I say things and what I say will always make everyone feel comfortable. And I mean, that's quite an interesting place to work through. And to decide how honest do I really want to be. And then it dropped me even deeper into where am I not being honest with myself? Where am I really not looking after myself? And I had a bit of a health incident with my liver and everything, which made me take stock of what is it that I'm needing to look at within my own physical being, and how have I not been fully listening to my body over the last year. And as you know, over the last few years, I've really started working a lot with somatics and understanding my nervous system and studying it and bringing it into my work, and really understanding that the truth lies within my body for anything that I'm doing, right? And there were still places that I wasn't fully looking or wanting to go look. Okay, so when you ignore something for long enough, it will come and speak to you, as my liver did. And so everything's fine. Like I have my, after like a lot of deep work, like emotional work, spiritual work, physical investigations, all of that, changing behaviors and patterns within myself on a physical level as well, all of that. I feel like I've come to a place now where I've got a plan so I can move forward. But it's always interesting, isn't it, that we have to kind of like hit the wall for us to make a plan to change shit. And so I feel like a lot of what is coming up for 2026 is, can I stop hitting the wall and actually make the plans before I hit the wall? And this is what my guides are trying to instill in me now. And so my word of self-responsibility for the year is really one of those where I am constantly observing within myself, emotionally where I'm at, spiritually where I'm at, physically where I'm at. So like the whole mind, body, soul triquetra, basically for me, it's just like I have to live in that space of deep honesty with myself. And so not just run into a wall again and then go, oh shit, I should have looked at this. There was this niggling feeling, I knew this was happening, etc., but I didn't follow it, or I didn't go deep, or I didn't go and investigate. And so that is really what my Tower year is going to be about for me. It's about this radical honesty and responsibility for myself, and really, you know, just taking the reins again. And I'm laughing now because as I say that, my guides are going, yes, well, it is a fire horse here, Yolandi, so it would be a good thing to take the reins. And I'm like, okay, I hear you. So where are you at within yourself regarding responsibility, regarding honesty? You know, are you sitting and waiting for the shit to hit the fan, and then you'll go, oh, now I'll start changing things, even though deep down inside you know things aren't right? And so for me, it's been a massive wake-up call, and hence all the hermiting, hence the like complete pulling back, sitting with myself, going deep, and just really trying to understand, like, what am I doing? Who am I? What is happening here inside of me? And I guess, you know, when you really start dancing with the truth of yourself, it's always a beautiful place to come to, when you realize that so much of what we put on outside, you know, ideas and philosophies and all of that, is so often bullshit as well. And I just recall now, as I'm speaking to you, about this massive epiphany that I had while I was in Greece dancing my little heart out. And it was really about the fact that, you know, I can speak about how I've been limited by outside forces and the patriarchy and, you know, society, etc. But at the end of the day, I'm the only one dancing in that circle. I'm the only one choosing to stay in that cage. And I'm really the only one who is believing that, because if I stepped out of it, then the world is my oyster. You know, the world outside of me is such a vast and open space that I can play in and I can create in, and I can manage the systems of the world, and I can basically walk through whatever is around me without becoming a victim to all of those things. And so that really kicked my butt as well, because that was part of this honesty. It's just like, well, where am I kind of like blaming things because I don't have the balls to actually go and do something about it, because I don't have the, you know, the motivation in myself and the courage to actually go and change things and do things. But it's much easier to go, oh, no. You know, those systems are in place there, so I can't do anything. And even with my health journey, where I needed to take action outside of the systems to actually decide that, no, I'm not going to let you tell me this. I know something else within me is saying it's that. And so, you know, it was like, it was sort of a good old year of growing up as I step into my now 49th year, or I guess my 50th year on this planet. So that was really quite interesting. And so the big part of it as well was how I sat in the void for quite a long time. So after having birthed the Dragon course last year, and it was absolutely magical, and I was so grateful to be able to get to the space where I could bring information to other people and teach them about like how to work with the dragons and stuff. So it was a massive, it was just such an opening for me. So I was so happy about that, and that was really big. And then when I came back after summer and everything, I was just like, it was just quiet. Like all my creativity and everything was just like, zzz, we're just going to be here. You can run a few courses. That's brilliant. Like, you know, teach what you know, and some beautiful stuff dropped in, but it was just little bits and pieces. It was like someone was like giving me a crumb here and a crumb there and a crumb there and a crumb there. And I was just like, so frustrating, because I can see something wants to come, but I can't touch it yet. So I don't know what it is yet. So that was really frustrating, but I also had to dig deep to be okay with letting it be frustrating, right? Because I needed to rest. I was really on the verge of like burnout and all of it. So I was just like, you need to just sit, do, you know, a bit of work, but this is not a time for creating. This is not a time for like blooming and like going out and doing your thing. And I'm like, okay. Because I mean, if you know me, I'm forever going, I want to do this and I want to do that, and I'm so excited about this, because that's basically what happens in my brain all the time. And now my brain was just like, there's a little nugget, okay, bye. There's a little nugget, okay, bye. And so it was rather interesting to sit through that. But then all of a sudden, in the beginning, no, it was literally, end of November, as my Saturn, one of my Saturn cycles in my chart finished, I was just like, boom, I had this brilliant inspiration after 2 years of sitting with a concept. And this concept has been floating in the back of my mind to work with fear and the deeper, like, physiological and emotional and all of that, like that understanding of our fears, because I've lived so much fear in my life, and I've lived through so many beautiful experiences and learning experiences around fear and all of that. And even my 2025 was like big fears coming up and all of that. And I was just like grinding through it, like persevering, doing my thing. And then I was just like, oh my God, like I know how I can pull this together. And I had this massive download with the dragons, because they feel like such a big part of all of this. And they showed me exactly like how to structure this and how to work with it. And I was just like, oh my goodness, this is going to be so much fun. And I mean, when last did you hear someone saying, yes, we're going to go into fear and this is going to be the best thing you've ever done? And I was just like, oh my God, if we can really, you know, start to dig deep into where does this come from? What does it actually mean? Like, what have you created for yourself in the space of fear? And how can you unlock this for yourself? How can you set yourself free again and get back into the space of actual joy and like openness within yourself? And I was just like, this sounds like something I want to do with you guys. So I've put my hand up, and I will share in the next few weeks with you guys more about this course that's starting in Feb. But the point is that I had to wait. I had to be patient for this next level unlocking, basically. So I feel like I've been lying in the womb of like the cosmic consciousness, and I was literally just in this darkness. And thank goodness for like my mentor and stuff, that kind of going, you're going to be okay, Yolandi, you just need to keep breathing, you can do this. You're not dying. You're not like, you know, you're not becoming a husk of your former creative self. Just let this thing develop within you. And that was such good advice, because it was really just like, I just had to sit in it. And eventually I was like, okay, well, if I have to sit here for the next 5 years, then we'll just sit. And basically when it hit me like a rocket, that last day in November, I was just like, oh my God, this is amazing. But I've also changed the way that I work now, because I thought I'm going to take my time with this. I've sat a lot with the dragons and we started working through like how they actually want to do this. I mean, I got the whole outline for it, but now it's like the juicy bits and how are we going to do this, etc. So none of this is a rush, because for me, this year is really about like being very deliberate about things, and like really, you know, the horse can run away and it can be a huge fuck up, right? But if I can sit and have the reins on the horse, and if I'm intentional, and if I'm setting my goals and my intentions, I can actually work with that horse to move me forward, right? Because we've been slithering on our bellies over the ground and like really taking stock of ourselves and losing our skins and all of that stuff. But now to get on the horse and really like, you know, have those reins in hand and have a plan and move, because one of the big things that keep like coming up again, and what the dragons keep showing me, is they're like, you're moving into 2027. We have got all of this beautiful new information that's coming. And if you're trying to now function and work with this through this veil of fear that is over your beautiful blueprint as a soul, you're going to miss out. Okay, you're going to miss out on all these amazing things that wants to come from the cosmic like space, right? And it's just like all of this wants to come through, and when you're not open to it, when you are not in that space where your being is literally going, let me receive, let me receive, let me receive, we're going to miss out on beautiful creations. Because what's happening now is we are literally moving into the space where we're starting to weave all of those cosmic strands together, and we are creating brand new things. And we're speaking about like new earth, and we're speaking about like, you know, new ways of living and doing things, but we have to be ready to be able to receive that. And so for me, this year is about this responsibility. It's like really owning my shit. It's like, okay, if I'm being honest with myself, where do I need to look? Where am I holding myself back? Where am I still letting my fear rule me? Where am I still letting these little issues stop me from, you know, being open to receiving all of the energies? And so I'm so excited for this year, because I'm like, oh my God, this is really a place where we are going to be moving into such internal freedom if we allow ourselves. Because we've been churning in the healing, we've been churning in the suffering, and now it's just like, okay, can we let go, and can we actually start to enjoy life? Is this possible for you? Are you so sick and tired of sitting in the shit that you are willing to actually go and dig deep to get to where you want to go? And that for me was that perseverance that came last year, that like needing to like push through when things were hard, needing to sit in the discomfort of not knowing, needing to sit in the discomfort of my own, you know, my own being and like the darkness around me. And that was really like beautiful. I mean, there was a lot of crying and there was a lot of swearing, but I'm like, I'm through it and I see the value of this now. So I really want to just pull your attention to that. Like, what are you choosing for yourself this year? Because if you're not going to be intentional, when you're not going to be there, really towing the line, letting the horse ride now from Feb into where it needs to go, where are you going? And it doesn't have to be like speeding along. It doesn't have to be like a quick fix, because all of this stuff, if you want to do something, you got to go deep. If you want to do something this year, you got to do it properly. You got to go in there. You got to have grit, and you've got to want it. Because if you don't want it, then that's fine. You know, like I always say, you can sit on the couch and watch TV. Awesome. Have fun with that. But as we know, some of us have signed up for the package of let's go and explore the fuck out of the universe and ourselves, and let's have fun with that. And that's where I'm going this year. So that was a lot of sharing and rambling for you guys. And I will, in the next few days, be posting some videos about the Dragon Alchemy course. We're starting in Feb. Like I say, this is going to be a deep dive. This is going to be a place where, as a community, we take radical responsibility and we actually start to move towards communal freedom as well. So this space that I am creating with my beautiful dragons is really going to be one of those places where we're going to go into the spaces and places within you that can be set free, and opening up to that, that magnificent openness, that beautiful ability to receive and to bring through all of the magic that is waiting for us on the other side of 2026. Okay, so yeah, beautiful. So please, if you enjoyed the podcast, please like, share, subscribe, all the good things. And I will be back, as I said, in the next few days to dig a bit deeper. But for any information, or if you want to work with me this year, if you need some clarity, if you need some guidance, if you're feeling lost and stuck, I am here and I'm ready, and we are starting again next week. So come and join me and make this one of those beautiful years where you bloom. Okay, thank you, and thanks so much for listening.